Welcome to Upfront with Waheed Hussain. Today we are going to once again discuss about Iran-US standoff that is going on, especially regarding a deal or completely ending this war. Uh, how it is going to impact the Chinese economy and the regional economies, and especially Pakistani economy. So I have a very prominent guest once again, Dr. Hassan, but he is a senior expert on the Pakistan-China economic corridor and the different projects that are going on under this portfolio. Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan, for joining me. Kindly tell me that how you view this present situation at the Strait of Hormuz and its impact on the international energy prices, as well as on the Chinese economy.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're passing through very difficult times, and also unpredictable times, where there is no end state in front of us. There is no clear road map. Pakistan government and of course everyone in Pakistan remain hopeful that a good solution, a win-win solution, can come out of this. But as we speak, I do not find any way forward. Both the sides are while they're giving their own requirements and expectations, there's no convergence as far as we see, and therefore we are continuously seeing the fuel prices going up, the gas prices going up, the infrastructure which was already damaged. We do not see that coming up maybe next 2 to 3 years. There's a blockade happening uh, by the United States of America, the naval forces there, and from the Iranian side, there is also a sort of restriction in movement of ships. So practically, the Strait of Hormuz is as far as its free navigation and free movement of ships is concerned, is completely under lock and under blockade. And the overall economy, especially in Asian economy, is greatly impacted by this. Asia imports more than 30% of its fuel from, including China, imports 30 more than 30% of its fuel from this Middle Eastern country through the Strait of Hormuz. And because of what is happening now, I think all of our economies, including the fuel prices and also the agri-based prices. I am China right now as we speak, and here, while there is less discussion on the fuel prices, there is more discussion on fertilizer prices, because agriculture is the backbone of Chinese, one of the backbone of, without, besides manufacturing, agriculture, and of course they need food, and there's a huge population, over 1.5 billion. So therefore, there's a lot of economic stress overall. There's a lot of disturbance overall, and uh, while we all are talking about it, probably an end state is not clear to you. But one thing is clear, that whatever and whenever it happens, this is going to impact, and this is going to profoundly change the way business, especially the oil and gas business, is done from this part of the world. It was profoundly change how Middle Eastern countries would view their security apparatus around the United States of America and its allied forces. NATO would clearly look at it in a different prism post war. And of course, Asia and largely China would look at how they can diversify their energy sources, and perhaps look at technologies which can reduce their dependence.
So
So
do you
I see
think
a
that
different world after this.
okay? Do you think that the world has to move towards the alternative energy resources that they have been discussing, and it was in fact out of climate change, results and the impact. But today we are seeing that blockade of one strait is impacting the economies of so many countries around the world.
Yeah, the problem is that it's not just about one strait. If you give set up a model around this, and if this model which is happening right now, and this disturbance and blockade of the strait becomes a model around security, then you can have a similar situation emerging from Malacca Strait and other straits where shipments, essential shipments, including vital trade happens. So, first of all, in no way we should validate that whether it's the blockade or whether what is being done through Iran. We have to find a solution which is perhaps acceptable for those. But if this situation does not gets its fair results and treatment, then you will find many other players emerging and controlling. And even if we talk of toll, which is being discussed by some experts, that there might be toll coming up, which might be mutually agreed between the two forces which are at war now. Maybe you will hear similar discussion from Malacca Strait around war. In future, the countries there may say that we will also put toll, and then energy prices will go up significantly, and the economic growth that has been predicted already. The World Economic Forum and the World Bank have reduced their predictions of the overall global growth. Now, coming to your question on the renewable energy, I think more than renewable energy, because when we talk of renewable energy, sometimes we talk of the climate change aspect of it. But what I am looking at is that when countries would look at diversifying their energy sources so that become less dependent, they would adapt and adopt technologies which are where energy sources are indigenous. So, for example, while we have been speaking about reducing coal-fired power plants across the world, including in India and China, if countries work on diversifying their energy sources, they would revert back to coal, and they would, start having more coal-fired power plants, and also whatever source that they have available to them, whether it's water, whether it's coal, whether it's sunlight. So that in that case, they what I see, especially if I look at China and if I look at large economies where energy requirement is more, I think China on its path has done well post 2018 when Trump first term was there, and from there they had work on. As a matter of fact, China has been working on risk mitigation around something which is happening now from Hu Jintao time. But into post 2018, they really worked on technologies. We are seeing more EVs. We are seeing more renewable energy. The cost of renewable energy and hence go down. But what I see would be three areas where countries like China and perhaps us also would work. One would be redirecting their trade routes and redirecting their fuel sources. So, therefore, China might look at Russia and perhaps Central Asian countries for more percentage of their oil and gas requirement. There might be more pipelines being built between Russia and China. Their relationship would grow stronger and further in terms of economic relationship and also political relations. And then, of course, the BRICS. Feel that going forward, in terms of energy, they would look at a combined solution where countries within BRICS will not just in terms of currency swap, will also look at fuel diversification. So this is one aspect that's going to happen. The other aspect is that countries would look at their own sources of energy, like coal, like water, as I said earlier.
Okay.
So that is going to happen.
Dr.
And
Hassan, I would. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Do, what's your opinion about the present situation? Do you think that what people are discussing in China, since you are in China at the moment,
I think
what is
China,
their opinion?
yeah, while China is concerned about it, They, at least what my opinion is, based on some of the interaction here, based on reading some Chinese newspaper in the past 1 week, I see this is not their number one concern. I do not think that, based on the resources and the risk mitigation efforts that they had already undertaken, this will not stop their path towards the plan, the 15th 5 year plan till 2035. They do not see this war impact, even if it's prolonged, still it will not impact their growth pattern, which they had planned, which includes a lot of AI technologies, a lot of renewable energy. The only addition might happen would be, as I said, would be addition of coal. So this is not their principal concern right now. While they are concerned on the political front, they understand that most of it, whether it's Venezuela, whether it's Iran, whether it's Cuba, and whether other energy sources may, and also us also, some of the experts think that this may be targeted around the larger Chinese economic growth. But I think China is now really concerned about their 5 year plan and post 5 year 2049. So for them, since your question was tailored around China, I do not see this as their number one concern. It could be the number two or number three concern. Right now, what their concern is creating job opportunities and AI. Okay, in terms of energy resources, the only issue that they've been discussing is that while they talk of AI and robotics, all these aspects, even in the West, required a lot of data centers and required a lot of energy. So for that energy, I think the concern might be bigger than the overall economic concern, because China is looking at technology growth pattern around AI and of course around space growth. So the simple answer is this may not be their first economic concern, but maybe
Okay,
second or third.
okay,
And
okay.
and I also feel that even if this war is prolonged, to the extent that we see, because there has to be an end to this madness. So, and we see, it might not be a definite timeline, but some timeline based on history. So if that remains, I think China is still hopeful that their economic growth pattern will continue. China has done well in this quarter. Their growth, where war was happening, they've still grown with the 5% of GDP growth, which is perhaps better than they had expected in a war scenario.
What about the CPAC projects?
I think CPAC with overall CPAC, I mean, it would be overall the importance of CPAC or no CPAC. Pakistan should look at improving their infrastructure, improving their agriculture. This war should give us some lessons. The way that our economic activities have been restricted, the way that the fuel prices has gone down. I think Pakistan has to now clearly look at indigenous sources. Pakistan may have to again
What kind of
revert
a
towards,
what kind of a resources we can have at the
I
moment?
think, yes. So first of all, the government again should, with the anti-solar narrative. I'm not saying that they are against renewable energy or solar. What I'm saying is that the narrative being built, right now, we should be thankful to all the rooftop solarization that has happened. Because of that, our import bill of fuel remained low. Had that not been there, just imagine, especially with summer approaching or approached already. Just imagine the fuel costs. So I think government should continue to support the renewable energy. This narrative of especially coming from the power division regarding more tariffs and more restrictions, more NEPRA permissions. I think for at least for the time being that should be halted, and more renewable energy support should come up even to the
Do you
industrial
think
sector.
do you think that there is a okay, I'm not going to use the word mafia, but these business people who are involved in power generation in Pakistan, and we have a circular debt phenomena in Pakistan, which is badly affecting Pakistan's economy, and a lot of pressure is on the public, in fact. And then the second, aspect is the aspect of IMF programs that we are at the moment. So, do you think that under these conditions and circumstances, a government can take, a strong decision and, stand against all these adversaries or maybe challenges that Pakistan is facing? That okay, we have to give, a very low cost energy to our people, to our industry, to our commercial entities.
You see, low cost, tailored incentives, tailored substitution. I think IMF does not restrict that. For example, anything for poverty alleviation, IMF supports that. My concern is regarding one policy regarding solarization. The government was not giving any incentive. The only incentive that government was given was that people could use that and go off grid. So I think the government should encourage more renewable energy, more solarization. Government should revert back to the hydel projects that were stopped, like within CPEC also. For example, Azad Patan, for example, Korot, those projects which were in AJK for its strategic reason and also for energy and water resource reason should immediately be started. I know there is a concern that Pakistan has excess energy, which I do not agree to, but of course we keep hearing this from experts. I'm not an energy sector expert, I am just an investment expert. But I still would insist that the government should go back to hydel projects. They should build these water resources, because while we have these crises of energy, we also have crisis of water. And what is happening in Chenab River by India, by I think very soon this is another brewing crisis. So we should work again more towards attracting investment within CPEC, which is already parked, which is already there, and Chinese are willing to invest in the hydel sector, in the energy hybrid energy solutions. Even uh, the tariff, since you spoke about, and it's very fashionable to speak about energy and then go to capacity payment. But besides that, what has happened, we will talk about. But what can happen in future is important. For example, in Gawadar, immediately they show, if you talk of, and I'm sure you must also at various forums must have heard about transshipment hub, and Gawadar and Karachi becoming transshipment hub for the region because of this war. If there is no electricity, they cannot become hub of anything.
Yeah, of course.
So therefore they should immediately work on energy, whether it's hydel, whether it's
Well,
hydel cannot happen.
I was reading that the government has allowed, the transit through Iran to the Central Asian states, and uh, two main entrance points has been opened, or they are functioning. So naturally, since we have a problem with Afghanistan, so we are opting for Iran. But you're right that for that we need, substantial energy resources to supplement our ideas.
Yeah. So therefore, whether it's renewable, whether it's through own coal, we have our own coal in Thar, whether it's from imported coal, whether it's from hydel regional connectivity, first few things have to happen, and war or no war. We need immediately grid connectivity with GB. We need immediately grid connectivity with Gawadar. That does not stop because of war, isn't it? So
Yeah, of course.
basic elementary things have to happen. Next step we can talk about, because of war, maybe we can speed up the process, but at least the elementary things have to happen through PSDP. And then, as I said, the two projects within CPEC which were stopped because of various reasons should immediately start. The Azad Patan and other, there's investment available. And when we keep talking about investment not coming, and those projects which are there, we say, as a simple layman, any hydel project, a 500 megawatt plus hydel projects takes about 10 years for gestation. And therefore, if after 10 years our industry situation will remain the same, then countries' challenges will be 100 times to more than what they are now. So,
Yes.
what if I will be predicting? I will say that in 10 years, inshallah, we will have more industrialization. For that, we will need more energy. So, therefore, we should start building tidal resources and, of course, renewable energy sources. When you give industrial, like for example, in KE projects, other projects, the NEPRA can discuss tariff and work on a tariff which is acceptable for the consumer and it's good for the investor also. So, I mean, no investor will come in your country or any other country unless he makes profit. So, therefore, you can give him marginal profit and give good support to the consumers, which are common people. So, government has to look at this and has to work on. I think the issue, overall issue, I mean, whatever we talk of, whether it's war or no war, is our lack of capacity of long term planning. Whether it's energy sector, whether it's an agriculture sector, whether it's manufacturing and industrial policy sector. So overall, our long-term planning is very short term. I mean, any plan should be. I'm happy to say that Udan Pakistan is happening, but Udan Pakistan only I feel that planning ministry owns it. Rest of the ministries have their own Udan. They don't
Yeah.
have Udan Pakistan. They have their own Udan.
Yeah.
So in you understand what I
So
mean? So
yeah,
therefore,
of course, they want
any
to fly with their own ideas and
yes,
whatever
yes. So I think
the targets they do have.
what we need to work on, sir, is more synergy amongst the stakeholder. And I think for that, while people say, why do I always keep saying about SIFC? Therefore, I think we need a more stronger SIFC so that they can create an synergy amongst all the stakeholders which have their own concept and ideas. We must
That's
have a long term plan like the Udan Pakistan, well tailored. We can work on it because it's a living document, so changes would come. But going forward, then all stakeholders should give their input and then work accordingly towards next 10-year plan. Otherwise, while there is Iran and US war, there can be other war, including the war to eliminate poverty. So I think solutions are clear, but only the long term planning aspect. We've been hearing about uh, these switches, and we have been hearing about reorientation and development of our energy sector. I mean, these stories come and go, people come and go, but situation remains. So I
you're right.
think
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan. But you have spoken really immensely very good regarding our internal, challenges, especially related to the energy sector. Because if we want to have a good agriculture, a good industrialization, if we want to improve our economy, if we want to see our people, having a relief from the present condition, the energy, challenges. So I won't call it a crisis. Naturally, it's an international crisis, but challenges that we are facing, we need to have, work on a very good policies and should have a target, and there should be a synergy among all the ministries and institutions working under the government. Thank you very much for your time.